Hi, welcome to today's writing lesson. We're going to keep this short and sweet because my videos have been getting a little bit long and I don't want to take up all your time with videos. I want you to spend some time doing some actual writing. So just to review what we've been going over this week, I wanted you to think about what makes a Cinderella story a Cinderella story. We've read several different examples of Cinderella stories, and I think I've boiled it down to the main aspects that make it a Cinderella story. So first of all, we have a girl, usually human, not always, with no mother and a mean family. So very often it's a stepmother and stepsisters. Occasionally, like in Ponyella, it's just some new ponies. Or in the Korean Cinderella, there was actually only one stepsister. So that can change a little bit. Then a royal person has a celebration. So the reason I said royal person is, again, Ponyella. It wasn't a prince. It usually is, but in that case it was not. And they have some sort of a celebration. Usually it's a ball, but depending on the kind of story, it might be some other sort of event. There's one that I love that I don't have anymore called Cinderella, and it's about a Bigfoot Cinderella. And she goes to a big competition where they have to do these games, and it's really fun. I wish I still had it. I don't know where it went. Then the girl goes in disguise and usually gets magic help. So often it's a fairy godmother, but sometimes it's a different version. And of course, in Cinder Edna, she doesn't get any magic help. She gets there all on her own, which is what makes it such an interesting story. Then she usually loses her shoe at midnight. So in each of the stories that we had, that is what happened. And through the process of the royal person finding the girl, she ends up living happily with that royal person. So in most of them, it's a love story. She meets her prince and falls in love. Ponyella was quite different because she was bought by the princess and became her pet. So those things make a Cinderella story a recognizable Cinderella story. Now, my challenge to you during the next week is to come up with your own fairy tale. Now, it doesn't have to be Cinderella, but because we've talked about it a lot, you might want to choose that. You also did several versions of Little Red Riding Hood. So if that's a story that's clear in your mind and you'd like to make your own version, go for it. You can do any kind of fairy tale that you would like. Maybe you want to make a new version of Goldilocks and the Three Bears or the Gingerbread Man. For example, the Runaway Pancake is a version of the Gingerbread Man. So just to give you some ideas, I just came up with 3 off the top of my head. If you're going to do a space Cinderella story, then maybe she's living on the moon and her mean stepfamily makes her sweep all the moon dust. Maybe they call her Moonella. And the royal prince of the moon is having a moon ball, and so she needs to have the nicest space suit and she loses her moon boot. Well, you can see I'm just coming up with ideas, but that's something that you could do, and I think it'd be pretty fun, actually. You could do a future Cinderella. So maybe it's in the future and her fairy godmother is actually a robot instead, and they've got all the technology to take her to the ball in an instant, like a transporter in Star Trek. And maybe it's some sort of futuristic shoe that tells the prince where to find her. You could also do where you change what they are. For example, you could do a dinosaur Cinderella. So you've got a big dinosaur and she's got a dino family and she goes to a dino ball and meets a dino prince and they live happily dino ever after. You could do anything you like with this, as long as it has some of these elements that make it a Cinderella story. For example, if you wanted to change Goldilocks and the Three Bears into a story about monkeys, so it could be Goldilocks and the Three Monkeys. You can use your imagination and come up with whatever you'd like. I'm super excited to see what you come up with. If you're not on Google Classroom yet, you can still submit it. The Google Classroom would be an easy way to do it, but you can also write it and you could send it through your parents' email. You could take a picture of it and text it to me, or I can just ask you about it when I talk to your family. But see if you can come up with a story during the next week. Try to remember our writing process. You write your ideas down first, then you try to make it into a story, then you go back and fix any mistakes you had and write it nicely so that it's really easy to see. A picture is a good idea. I know not all of you love to draw, but I know some of you do. And if you don't, ask someone in your house to do the drawing part for you. I don't mind. But see if you can come up with something that you can submit to me. And if you like, I can share it on video so that everybody can see it. Or if you're on Google Classroom, everyone should be able to see it there. I have the assignment written on Google Classroom, but just in case you can't access it, I will also email it and text it out to your parents so that everybody can take part in this. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what you've got. I hope you have some good ideas. If you have questions, just get in touch with me and I can help you out with that. Have a wonderful break, and I will see you after.